what if I started crying? What does that mean? So if you start crying during one of my sacral calibrations, it's probably because you have not been in contact with your sexual creative self, your true sexual creative self, in a long time. And there's a lot of grief kind of built up, which is this act of like mourning, or this act of loss that has never been expressed. It also means that a lot of the times you've probably spent your life doing things that maybe made sense to you but didn't feel good for you. And finally coming back into touch with the there's a resonance. Like I said, there's kind of like just grief with a lot of potential energy. Like it wants to move naturally. It not that it should have been like you're wrong for not moving it, but there were moments when it wanted to move but it never got to move. And so yeah, if you start crying, that's actually a good sign, because what that's telling me, and that should be telling you, is that you're actually starting to come back into contact with yourself. And as anyone that's been through like a spiritual journey or a spiritual awakening, this shit is not easy, but it is worth it, right? Like becoming more sensitive to yourself and your own process and your own life, and the ways that you've basically said fuck you to yourself, and yes, I'll do something for somebody else. Like a lot of that is sacral energy, and it's creative sexual life force. So you don't necessarily have to experience a sexual trauma blatantly to have suppressed and manipulated and take advantage of yourself, or allowed yourself to be taken advantage of. The tears is a good sign. Keep practicing this stuff. It also might be that I asked a question that is kind of unresolved. Like I think in this video that you commented on here, I asked the question around like, do you miss your mom, or do you miss your family? Things like that. Again, sometimes when someone asks us a question like, hey, do you miss your mom? We give them, oh yeah, I haven't seen my mom in this long, but we have a really good relationship, and blah, 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 blah. There might be a lot of words, but what is the feeling underneath? And that's the whole point of these sacral calibrations, is to get people to acknowledge that, hey, there's a difference between like my mind, which is more of a passenger, and my body, which is an actual form, and what my body feels. Because a lot of the time we choose based off of the mind and the passenger, rather than the capabilities and the reality of the vehicle and the body that we're in. So keep crying, keep sharing this, keep practicing.